forgot to tell Mr. Allback, but I would have played for nothing.
Back in the bird, the ball away is gone.
If you don't play for the Boston Celtics, you never play professional basketball. This is what basketball is all about.
And now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the DJ, lays it in. What a play by Bird.
So as far as I'm concerned, I gave my heart, my body, my soul to the Celtics, and hopefully we can continue to have a good relationship.
Once your name goes to the rafters, that's the ultimate. For the fans, I really didn't get to say goodbye to the fans, so that'd be the night for myself and all the people that's really followed my career the last 13, 14 years. It's really my last hurrah, and DJ's number looks awful lonely up there, but hopefully mine will be right next to his.
Tonight, live from the Boston Garden, Fox 25 Sports presents Larry Bird Night. Brought to you in part by AT&T, proud sponsor of the NBA and the Boston Celtics. By Miller Lite, it's everything you want a beer to be. And by the American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
On the court, I found one sure way to make a heads-up play, and that's by being a smart team player. That means knowing when to drive, when to pass. That's a game plan that works off the court, too. Next time you're out having a Miller Lite with the game, play it smart. Stay in control. Know when to pass.
Everybody used to come in and say, you know, the R in your sign is backwards. Kids play with the same toys everywhere. People in Japan are no different than the people in the United States, no different than the people in Canada. They want things for their children, and the lower the price, the more they'll buy. I buy the majority of my purchases with the American Express card. It's simpler for me, period.
American Express is welcome to Toys R Us and other fun spots.
It's good to know your Osco pharmacist will take the time to answer questions about prescriptions, non-prescription medicines, anything that concerns you. If you have a medical problem, consult your doctor. But if you have questions about medicines, just ask your Osco pharmacist.
At Osco, you can count on people who care. You're on your way.
So in my interview, they told me how Dow can take all this coal and turn it into clean burning gas.
Wouldn't that cut down on acid rain?
You got it.
Sounds like one serious job, son. I just wish it wasn't so far away.
Gonna miss you, Mike.
Hey, take care of this for me.
You can make a difference in what tomorrow brings.
Son, show 'em what you got.
'Cause Dow lets you do great things.
This is worse than waiting for Game 7, isn't it, huh? On behalf of the Boston Celtics, I want to welcome all of you to a unique evening for a very unique player. It's absolutely great to see such a huge crowd here tonight, and you need to know that all of the net proceeds of this evening are going to benefit Boston area charities. It'll be selected by Larry and another group of committee. Tonight we celebrate a great player's career, but in a special way we celebrate the special love affair that existed between him and the fans who are here in this building. Larry's one request from last August was, he said, whatever we do, I want it to be a very special night for the fans. I need to give back to them everything they gave me for 13 years. With that request in mind, the Celtics, and with the help of NBA Entertainment, have tried our very best with the help of some very important sponsors. The presenting sponsor, John Hancock, the Bank of Boston, General Mills and Miller Lite, not only to put together a unique gift bag that I'm afraid held you up a little bit coming in, but I want you to know that every item in that gift bag cannot be bought anywhere. Only those of you here tonight will have those items. And in a special way tonight, this is a Celtic family reunion as well. The tradition and the pride that Red Auerbach started 40 years ago are present in this building tonight. They're present with members of our championship team. They're present with so many members of our former teams, players who have had their numbers retired. And in many ways, the time and place that Larry Bird played in, of the greatest popularity ever of the NBA worldwide, of television on every game, of network coverage, and of sellout crowds for 13 years, was made possible by those who went before him. He appreciates that, and we appreciate that, and I know you appreciate that. Larry Bird played his game as hard and as well as any athlete who's ever played it. And tonight, I'm very privileged and proud to present to you a man who has no equals in his profession. And we are very pleased and privileged that he's chosen to be with us tonight, donating his time for the benefit of these charities. Sportscaster of the Year, innumerable times, he comes to us tonight fresh from the Super Bowl to host tonight's celebration. Please welcome the anchor of NBA basketball on NBC and this country's premier sports announcer, Bob Costas.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Boy, if this is what I get, what are you saving for Larry? I have just returned from the Super Bowl. Buffalo and Dallas, one city that lost an NBA franchise, another that wishes it could. It's a small attempt at humor, Mr. Commissioner. We are here tonight to honor a man whose feats on the basketball court are simply the stuff of legend. For years to come, they will be the subject of conversations that begin with the words, "Remember when?" Remember when Bird stole the ball against the Pistons? Remember the duel with Dominique in Game 7 in '88? Remember the three-pointer that finished Houston in '81? Throughout the history of the NBA, there have been players who were great at one aspect of the game. Deadly shooters, outstanding ball hawks or shot blockers and so forth. There have also been some, although far fewer in number, who were outstanding multi-dimensional players. But Larry Bird is one of only a handful of NBA stars who excelled in every facet of the game. Shooting, passing, rebounding, defending. And we expected it of him. We expected him to always do everything well. We expected him to hit his shots, to grab his rebounds, to pile up his assists. But it was the extraordinary measure of the man that despite the unusually high standards we judged him by, he so regularly exceeded those expectations. He had the ability to lift his game to an even higher level just when his team needed it the most. And that's what defines greatness in any athlete. Not just the ability to pile up numbers, but the ability to come through in the clutch and under pressure. He had a quality that went beyond his skills. He was a winner. He was a champion. In this, Larry Bird was a true Boston Celtic. From the moment he first donned the uniform, he became one with Cousy and Russell and Jones and Havlicek and Heinsohn. And he helped his teams add 3 more banners to the rafters up above. So tonight, we'll spend an evening with Larry Bird, the man and the legend. We'll talk with Larry and relive some of the great moments of his career on video. And we'll also be joined by other members of the Celtic family to talk over old times and share some special memories. It's appropriate that Dave Gavitt should speak about the Celtic family because family is the most important element in Larry Bird's life. So now let's take a moment to meet some of the members of Larry's family who are with us tonight. Beginning with his brothers, Joe Bird. Joe, stand up. He's not here, or there's no Joe Bird? There's no Joe Bird? Well, we know it's Larry, Joe. We know that. The historian's doing a crack job putting the name of a non-existent brother on the list. Are Morris, Myron, or Irv Bird here? No? I am praying that someone named Eddie Bird is here tonight. Eddie Bird, right there. Mike Bird. Mark Bird. Not to be confused with Mark the Bird Fidrich. And now that leaves me with a brother whose name isn't Joe Bird. Jeff Bird. There you go. Larry's sister, Linda Goggenauer. And Larry's mother, Georgia. Of course, Larry's wife, Dinah, is here, along with son, Connor. There you go, there's Connor. Who should be available in what, the year 2010, somewhere thereabouts? And only in recent days, a new member was added to the Bird family with the arrival of daughter Mariah in the Bird household, and we're very happy about that. And now let's meet some of the members of Larry's second family, his Celtics teammates over the years. They have come from all over the country to be here with Larry Bird tonight. We'll start by welcoming those who had the shortest trip. Some of the players from this year's edition of the Boston Celtics. Andy Jeck will do the honors. Andy.
Head coach Chris Ford. Assistant coach Don Casey. Assistant coach John Jennings. Trainer Ed Lacerte. Equipment manager and traveling secretary Wayne LeBeau. Lorenzo Williams. Marcus Webb. John Bagley. Ed Pinkney. Rick Fox. Ala Abdel Nabi. Joe Klein. Sherman Douglas. Xavier McDaniel. Kevin Gamble. D. Brown. Robert Parrish. Kevin McHale. Reggie Lewis.
Folks, we'll hear from Robert Parrish and Kevin McHale a bit later, but right now I'd like to ask Reggie Lewis and Chris Ford to join us up here on stage. And Larry's mom and wife Dinah, along with son Connor, if you can bring him up. We'd like all of you on stage right now if you could. They told me that they wanted a quick comment from you, and they wanted to know what Larry was like as a kid.
He was a great little boy.
And that sums it up. Now, Reggie and Chris have gifts they would like to present to Georgia and Dinah.
A little memento from the Celtics. Hope you wear it very close to your heart.
Watch for Connor. Okay. Watch for Connor. I'm sure he'll enjoy it once he gets much older to wear.
Oh, thank you. Beautiful.
Dinah, thank you very much for everything. And hopefully you wear it close to your heart. Thank you.
Chris and Reggie, thanks. And as Dinah, Georgia, and Connor make their way back to their seats, here's a video that in just a few minutes captures Larry Bird's essence on the basketball court. Its title is apt, Winning It All. Take a look.
And it has come down to the fifth and deciding game between the Celtics and the Pacers. Bird is hurt. Bird is down, and he's hurt. Larry Bird is headed directly to the locker room. And here comes Larry
He is a leader. He is a leader of the Celtics, and he will be until he retires.
He's trying to dish it off. Bird saves it. Oh, and a pass by Bird. Larry's open. 1-3. Yeah! By Bagley. Bird behind the back to Lewis. Don't be afraid. Got so much pride. And I've never been no loser. Here quickly, 14. This is a tie for the money. Dennis gets it into Bird. Larry, a runner. Got it! Ball game's over. Boston wins.
Larry Bird never quits and never says die, and he always feels that he has a chance to win the game.
The double team at Bird. Larry, fake, fall away. Hits it! All right! 2 seconds left. The Bullets by 1. Aims to Bird. He gets a good shot in the Celtics winner. Incredible.
Larry always said that. I want it. Besides, everybody in the building knows who the ball was going to anyway.
2-point Maverick lead. Bird's the man they want to have it. Yes, indeed. Bird for 3. Yes! Larry Bird for 3 with 4 seconds to go. What can you say about Larry Bird?
The thing is, the one thing to know where it's going, but it's another thing to stop it.
Larry tries to fight his way through with Barkley all over him. They're not going to call a foul. It goes to Bird. He's open. Got it at the buzzer.
I look at people like MacArthur, where the war happens, and General Patton. There's a war for them to shine in. Larry was born to play basketball.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the first of many times tonight, Larry Bird. Now, Larry is going to make a more formal address to all of you right at the end of the proceedings tonight, but we're kind of breaking his career up into segments. first couple of years with the Celtics, capped by the championship in '81. Then we'll move through the championship in '84, '86, and so on. So in between, in each of these segments, we'll have a chance to talk a little bit with Larry, beginning right now. This seems like a perfect night. I mean, except for the fact that Bill Lambier couldn't be here.
That's true. I wish he was here tonight.
What would you tell him if he was?
We would probably hang him up with my my number.
When you got here out of Indiana State, there's a story about when it dawned on you that you could be more than just a very good player, but you could be somebody who really mattered in the history of this league.
Well, we was practicing in Marshfield, and it's really not a fair story, because we was practicing in Marshfield, the rookies and some of the veterans came down, and the first day we played, and Emil Carr was guarding me, and it was tough, and, you know, it's a typical rookie thing. But the next day, Rick Roby guarded me. And when Rick was defending me, and that night I knew I was going to be a great player.
What kind of sense of the Celtic tradition did you have when you first got here, and what you were heir to?
Well, I really didn't know much about the Boston Celtics. Of course, I knew they won a lot of championships, but I've never been in Boston, never had a feel for what they was all about until I got to the Marshfield camp and I seen over 2,000 people come in to watch us play. Then all of a sudden, I got here and I heard that you're not supposed to wear the uniform unless you're playing in the game. And that right there showed me a lot of class, because if you're not playing in the game, don't wear the uniform. If you're playing and you put the uniform on, you better play and you better wear it proudly.
This would seem then to be an appropriate point to take a look at some of the legends who created the Celtics winning tradition, the tradition that Larry and his teammates carried on. Here it is.
We walked on the beach beside that old hotel. They're tearing it down now, but it's just as well. I haven't shown you everything a man can do. So stay with me, baby. I got plans for you. This is the time to remember, 'cause it will not last forever. These are the days to hold on to, 'cause we won't although we'll want to. This is the time, but time is gonna change. You've given me the best of you, and now I need the rest of you. This is the time to remember, 'cause it will not last forever. These are the days to hold on to, 'cause we won't although we'll want to. This is the time, but time is gonna change. I know we gotta move somehow, but I don't wanna lose you now.
of the people you just saw in that video have made the trip from various parts of the country to be here tonight. Some, like KC, whom you saw in the video, don't think we've overlooked them. They come later in the program. But there are some we'd like to introduce to you now and have you express your appreciation for them. He averaged 18.6 points a game over 9 seasons, won 427 NBA games as a coach, all of them with the Boston Celtics. Tommy Heinsohn. This guy played 13 seasons for the Celtics and came away with 8 championship rings. He was one of the greatest defensive players of his or any day. The NBA's director of player programs these days, Satch Sanders. Satch? This next player is one of the unique stories in basketball, an undersized center who regularly either held his own with or outplayed the likes of Kareem and Wilt and Willis and Lanier with speed and hustle and competitive fire. Dave Cowens. Dave? Here is the Celtic for whom the word sixth man was coined. He played on the first Celtic championship teams of the Russell era, Frank Ramsey. And speaking of sixth man, this Celtic great did more to popularize that role than anybody in history. He played with unflagging energy and abandon. He is among the Celtic leaders in virtually every category. Hall of Famer John Havlicek. This next Celtic legend isn't even a Celtic, but he did play a role in Larry Bird's success. Before every game at the Garden, while the national anthem was played, Larry focused his attention on this former Bruins retired number. There it is up above, and here he is, number 4, Bobby Orr.
Fox 25's coverage of Larry Bird Night will continue after these commercial messages.
If you've always been content just to observe an eclipse, right now you have a choice of 2 offers guaranteed to get you moving. Lease a 1993 Mitsubishi Eclipse for as little as $169 a month. Or buy one and get $1,000 cash back. But move quickly before these eclipse opportunities pass you by.
Some unknown long-distance companies are promising you fax connections as fast as AT&T's. But a promise isn't a guarantee. And AT&T's advanced network guarantees your faxes won't get blocked, so they'll connect on the first try. Or we'll credit you if you're not satisfied with any fax that doesn't. It's your choice. Faxes that'll save you time, guaranteed. Or some other company that could be sending you the wrong signal.
The AT&T Best in the Business Guarantee. Call for details.
Another day begins in Europe. Just as it has for centuries. And as each new day arrives, so does a silver bird from the west. This
This morning, American Airlines will touch down in 13 European cities in 9 different countries, including daily nonstop service from Boston to London Heathrow. So whether it's business or pleasure that brings you to Europe, fly the airline that can have you there as early as tomorrow morning. American Airlines, something special to Europe.
When it came into my life, that's all I did.
Playing on local courts with his friends, Larry didn't seem destined for greatness. But thanks to countless hours spent practicing alone, an incredible transformation began.
It was just like magic wand had touched him, because we'd never seen him play like that.
Larry would make Springs Valley High School proud by earning a scholarship to revered Indiana University. But after only 24 days, he would hitchhike home.
It was a decision I made and something I had to live with, and I thought about it before I did it, and it just, I would like to stay there, but it just wasn't for me.
Though he quickly settled into a job with the streets department, he kept his dream alive and soon left the sanitation truck behind to head for nearby Indiana State. And from the moment he donned a Sycamore uniform, he would make the most of his second chance.
Every offense we ran, the first thing we wanted to happen was Larry to touch the ball. And that was our goal, was get it in his hands 75% of the time that we had it. And, it worked.
By his senior season, Larry would lead the unknown Sycamores to the nation's longest win streak.
The way we were beating teams was just on pure guts and determination. So we just got in our minds that we weren't going to get beat.
Leading ISU to their first berth in the NCAA tournament, Bird would carry them on a miraculous ride to the final game. Though he would lose to Magic Johnson's Michigan State in this climactic contest, he had given Indiana State and the basketball world a season they would never forget.
Larry, let's talk briefly about those early years prior to the NBA. What was it like in the Indiana State high school tournaments? They made a movie about it. It must be something for people outside the state to try and understand it.
Well, usually in Indiana, everybody's eligible for the state championship. There's no classes, everybody's eligible. So we're a very small school, and we always felt that we had a chance to win a sectional or maybe a regional. It was never good enough to go all the way state. But we had one special year in '58 where we made the state, but in my year, you could always count on a full house. We had 2,800 people in the town of French Lick, and our gym held 2,300. So, so you sort of get a feel of what type of basketball was played there. And during my years, we fielded regularly, and it was a lot of fun because you're always competing against better schools, bigger schools, and it was a challenge every night out.
Have you ever had a conversation since you arrived in the NBA with Bob Knight about your decision to leave Indiana?
Never. I've seen Bobby a few times in golf tournaments and around, but there's no use talking about it. Everything worked out for the best.
Do you have a memory after leaving Indiana State, coming to the NBA? You have a memory of the first game you played, first one that counted, regular season game with the Celtics?
Well, I remember leaving IU because I remember it was a long walk home. But once I got to the Celtics, the one thing I really remember about the first game is somebody lit a dove out, or a pigeon, a white bird, and I knew right then that it was something special. The first shot I took, I missed, and I ended up getting the rebound, putting it in with my left hand, but it was all a fall. I didn't think it was such a big deal, but as I played 2 or 3 games, I knew I was in for a tough career here, because I knew Dave Callens told me when I first came in, he goes, the one thing about playing in Boston is don't go about it 90 or 80% because the fans know basketball here. And that stuck with me. And he said, if you dog it, they know. So play 100% every night, you'll have no problems.
You know, we mentioned earlier that you're following Russell and Kuzi and Heinsohn and Havlicek, and Cowens was still on the team. But an even more daunting prospect, you got Steve Kaburski's number. I mean, that was something right there, right?
Well, I heard when Steve was playing, he said his number's going to go up in the rafters like everyone else. So tonight, I guess he's right.
So let's take a look now at some of the highlights from those first few years with the Celtics, capped, of course, by the '81 championship in the finals against the Rockets. Roll it, boys.
Drafted in the NBA by the struggling Boston Celtics, Bird was looked upon as the savior of their proud tradition.
Everything's starting to fall into place. I hope you all realize this. We got Larry, one or two little moves, and we're ready to go.
Having finished in last place the season before, the Celtics hoped that this 21-year-old basketball wonder boy from rural Indiana would be the cornerstone of a new dynasty. But he would prove to be even more than they could have imagined.
Shake loose to Larry Bird. Bird, beautiful pass to Ford. Ford, a three-point shot. Bird, a rebound, and a basket, and he's fouled. Bird, tremendous instinct for the offensive board that time. Celtics have got 3 seconds. 2. Bird, a runner. It's good! Yes, indeed! 28 seconds. Bird, slap pass to Archibald.
Ahead to Henderson, the Bird on the cut. Beautiful!
Leading the Celtics to the largest single-season turnaround in NBA history, Bird would capture Rookie of the Year honors and revitalize both the franchise and its fans. And in his second season, he would lead the Celtics confidently into the playoffs on a mission to recapture championship glory. Though they would fall behind 3-1 to the Sixers in the conference finals, Bird would simply refuse to let the Celtics' title hopes die. Playing with ferocious determination, he would lead one of playoff history's most dramatic comebacks as the Celtics clawed their way back to even the series at 3. The Sixers could only watch as Bird delivered the knockout blow.
Bird coming to the left. Stop and pop off the glass. It's gone. Austin leads 91-89. Bobby Jones is going to put the ball in the play. And the pass hits the top of the backboard. And it's over. They won 3 in a row. They came from 3 of 1 down. And they have won the series. It's all over. It's all.
Bird had brought the finals back to Boston Garden. And now the Celtics look to raise the 14th championship banner to its hallowed rafters.
Larry Bird. Follows his own shot. Oh, what a ball. As soon as he shot that ball, Boy, Henderson broke it. There's Bird again. Larry Bird with a steal. Henderson back to Bird. Beautiful. Look at this crowd.
The Houston Rockets could only helplessly watch as the Celtics methodically eliminated them in 6 games, led by a determined Larry Bird. In just 2 years, this young Hoosier had taken Boston from last place to an NBA championship, fulfilling their wildest dreams.
It's all over. The Boston Celtics have won the World Championship in 1981, and they have become the 14th flag winners for the Boston Garden.
And folks, some of Larry's teammates from that 1981 championship team are here tonight. Let's meet them right now, and Andy Jick will call the roll. Andy.
Head coach Bill Fitch. Assistant coach K.C. Jones. The trainer Ray Melchiori. Gerald Henderson. Chris Ford. M.L. Carr. Robert Parrish. Kevin McHale. Tiny Archibald. And Cedric Maxwell.
The 1981 World Champion Boston Celtics. And if we could, we'd like to ask Bill Fitch, Tiny Archibald, and Cedric Maxwell to join us up here for just a moment. Now, feel free to converse with each other, but I'll just start it off. You used to call Larry Kodak because he had the photographic basketball mind.
I don't think I was the only one. Larry was the type of guy that took a picture of everything before everybody else saw it. And I thought it was apropos. What else can I say?
Let's hope we got another one that works. Tiny, you had been...
I think mine works.
There you go. You'd been a great player in the league, led the league in scoring and assists, but this was your chance to play with a champion.
Well, I'm just happy to be here tonight. Larry Bird, for many of people in the Boston Garden, and another gentleman sitting over there, Magic Johnson, has probably brought fond memories in my game of basketball. But when I go back to my city, New York, a lot of the kids hopefully will see this, but they asked me, did I play with Larry Bird? And I said, yes, I played with him, but we had a lot of other great teammates. But he's probably the single most important person on the Boston Celtics. He was the key that made the team run, and I'm just probably glad, like many of the guys, I'm ecstatic to be here, and I think that, Larry, tonight is your night. Hopefully it will be many more nights like this, and I'm just honored to be here. Thank you very much.
Bill, I know it's hard to explain, but what does it mean to a coach to have a player like Larry Bird?
Well, it means one of these for me, about one or more. Red brought these out. It means one ring for me and about 3 or 4 or 5 for anybody else that played with him. He's a winner, and you know, I've said Larry's lucky guy too because he played with a bunch of winners, but they needed him many a night This guy's the only night I ever made him mad at me is when I told him he was the second best left-hander we had on the team. And he says, "Who's the first?" I said, "Larry."
Max, how does it feel to be back at the Boston Garden?
Sit down. Great being back. Unfortunately, they gave me the gift, Larry, so I guess I'm going to take it home with me. It was a thrill really playing with you. And you know it was me and you, first of all, before you challenged any other these guys in the NBA, it was me and you going heads up every day. And all I remember, them 20-footers raining down on me, so. And I always remember thinking like, boy, you know, this white guy really can play, can't he? Larry, I guess it's my honor in representing all the guys behind me and some of the guys who aren't here, Terry Durod and Wayne Cretlow, who were on the team also. It's my honor to present you with this, what the hell is this? Okay. Oh, Bob, you know, I'm after your job, but never mind. What is this? A commemorative coin for Larry Bird looks like a gold-plated coin that is very expensive. So, on behalf of everybody, congratulations.
You know,
Commissioner David Stern and the 1984 Boston Celtic championship team when Larry Bird Night continues on Fox 25.
If you want to hang out in Boston, you gotta know where it's at. And where it's not.
Come on! Let me show you where it's at.
No.
Come on! Let me show you where it's at.
Give me a break. Hey, where it's at is Miller Lite, the great tasting beer that's less filling.
Miller Lite, I like it like that.
Because you know where it's at.
He never follows orders.
That's not the plan. The plan was no good.
He makes his own rules.
One shot, one kill, no exceptions.
His mission is to seek out the enemy.
He's a Colombian drug lord that's financing the rebels.
One target at a time.
Suicide mission. Going where they'll never expect us. Going against all kills.
Sniper, rated R.
Now playing at a theater near you.
Volvo just figured out how to lower the defense budget without threatening national security. Call for the dealer nearest you. While the new administration may offer Americans a new lease on life, we can definitely offer you a new lease on a Volvo. Call for the dealer nearest you.
I thought selling the business meant no cares. So much money.
First a month in Tahiti.
No, really. I ran a business. I'm not an investment expert. What if I blow it?
You won't. You always knew how to hire the right people.
Understanding what you need, helping you make it happen.
You know my wife's brother, the inventor. With the right backing, this kid's got an idea.
Shawmut, know-how that pays off.
Cedric Maxwell, the man who was voted the most
valuable player by Sport Magazine. Take care. Red Auerbach, Bill Fitch, and Robert Parrish. Well, they're taking care of a little business with Robert. Robert, you had a great game out there. You were the fellow that got him going early, and you came back after that foul trouble. How does it feel to have it all?
It feels very good. I'm happy to win it all. It's that.
Okay, we let Robert go and dry off a little bit. Let's get some of these other players. ML, come on in here. I said you said you're going to do what you had to do to win, and you did it.
We went out and we played. We played the game the way we felt we're supposed to play. Got to be the happiest moment of our life.
And we're just proud to have that championship trophy because of the amount of talent we had to beat to get it.
All right. Well, I noticed here, Red Auerbach has his victory cigar out. Red, did you ever get tired of this?
Never, never, never. We stuck together. When going got tough, we came through. They came back on us.
Well, they're taking care of Larry here. He's the man who did it.
These guys have had 2 great seasons, and it's been no nights off, not much rest. And if a team ever celebrated, this one deserves to celebrate.
Ladies and gentlemen, now please welcome a man who entered the NBA as the league's general counsel the year before Larry Bird came into the league. Now the guy most people consider the best commissioner in all of sports, the commissioner of the National Basketball Association, David Stern. So your first year as commissioner is 83, 84, so you're around as a rookie for another Celtic championship.
It was a snap. I took over on February 184. They said, you go to Boston, watch the game. It gets a little hot. We went from 3 officials to 2 officials in this building because it was 110 degrees towards the end of the game. But then you give Larry the trophy, or Red takes it away from you. You give him the finals MVP, you give him the season MVP, and then you come back in October and give him his ring. I thought all you had to do, other than an occasional trip out to LA to see Magic and the Lakers, was come to Boston Garden.
What did Larry mean to the history of the league in a way that continues beyond his retirement as an active player?
I think that people think about the NBA now. They say teamwork, they say leadership, they say making everyone around you better. I'm looking forward, 5 years from Monday, they're going to announce that Larry and Magic are in the Hall of Fame, and we're going to talk about it again.
Now, I honestly don't know the answer to this. Rod Thorne is sort of the league's dean of discipline, but did you ever get called into Commissioner Stern's office for a stern talking to?
Never.
I always spoke to the boss. Used to call Dinah and tell her to, make sure he was okay, but we never had a problem, really.
Commissioner David Stern, folks. The NBA, by the way, is making a $25,000 contribution to the Boston Celtics Charitable Foundation, and the league will also present Larry with a special personal video compilation of his greatest moments from high school through college, the NBA, and the Dream Team, so that his son and daughter might be able to appreciate his athletic artistry as much as all of us have. Well, 1984, Commissioner Stern's first in that position, was a watershed year for the NBA. Here's a bird's eye view of that season in Boston Celtics history.
In his first 4 years, Larry had brought the Celtics back to the top of the NBA. But by the 1984 season, it had been 3 long years since he'd won a title. And to make matters worse, his college rival Magic Johnson had led his Lakers to 2 championships during his first 4 years in the league. As the 1984 season began, Larry was determined to bring the title back to Boston.
'84 was, Larry was just awesome. I mean, it was just unbelievable how he could improve his game. You never thought that he could take it to a different level, and he was able to do that.
Larry's going to slow it up. No, it goes over the head to McHale. Bird has exploded in this half. Oh, that one!
He'll do things out there that you just say, and just leave you shaking your head and smiling.
Bird just kind of playing with Benson over there. Gave him about 5 fakes and hit.
Nobody played all-around better game than he did. I thought he did it all.
As Kellogg shoots and is short with it and hard, and the rebound to Bird. Look at that pass. Oh, what a show! Great play.
Oh, show! Forget about it.
The game was very simple. Get the ball to Larry and get out of his way.
And throughout the playoffs, that strategy worked to perfection.
Fires another three-pointer. Oh! Ties it up! He is too much. Absolutely too much. The greatest player in the world.
Cruising to the finals, the Celtics knew that their real challenge awaited them. As if scripted by fate, Larry's quest to regain championship glory would finally provide him with a long-awaited rematch.
Playing against Magic, yeah, that was something that I always dreamed about since he beat us in college.
But as the series began, it seemed more like a familiar nightmare, as the Lakers quickly stole the Celtics' home court advantage and seemed ready to put an early end to their championship dreams.
This has to be one of the most decisive routes in championship game history.
But Bird was not ready to surrender.
We got some great players on this team, but we don't have the players with the heart sometimes that we need. Until we get our hearts where they belong, we're in trouble.
He had sounded a call to arms, and his Celtic teammates would respond with ferocious intensity. Boston would push their way back into the series, beating the Lakers with hustle and pure desire.
Boyd Steele gets it over to DJ. Bird goes right into the pivot. Now DJ holds the ball. Back in the Bird. The fall away is gone. Oh, my goodness! Oh, my goodness!
All season long, Bird had led by example, and the finals would prove to be no different, as he simply refused to be denied.
Lakers had several chances, and here's Larry Bird chucking down the court.
Larry Bird. This game is Larry Bird. I mean, he's doing everything.
Bird's year-long quest would end with storybook perfection. Revenge was his, and the championship once again belonged to the Celtics.
No one believed that we could beat the Lakers that year. Absolutely no one believed it. But the fact of the matter is, we believed in ourselves, and that was a lot because of the leadership Larry had.
The Boston Celtics are the NBA World Champions in a grueling 7-game series with the Los Angeles Lakers.
And now let's meet some of Larry's teammates from that 1984 team who are here tonight. Andy?
Head coach K.C. Jones. Assistant coach Chris Ford. The trainer, Ray Melchiori. Scott Wedman. M.L. Carr. Gerald Henderson. Cedric Maxwell. Kevin McHale. Robert Parrish. Quinn Buckner.
world champion Celtics. Quinn Buckner, M.L. Carr, Gerald Henderson, DJ later, don't worry. ML?
Hi, Bob.
Come on
How
up.
are you? Good to
Quinn,
see
how
you.
you doing? And Gerald?
Yeah.
Now, go ahead, give it one wave. Go ahead.
Give me a wave.
Go ahead.
Show 'em how it's done. There we go. Get them going, folks.
What are these guys telling you here?
I'll be on the front page tomorrow. I'll be on the back, he'll be on the front.
Gerald, take us back to the steal in Game 2 that really saved the championship series.
Well, I think, you know, what happened was more of an instinctive thing. You know, me and ML used to talk to each other before anytime we had to go in before defensive situations, and we would just psych each other up. We got to make something happen, ML. We got to do it because it was a dire situation there, and fortunately we came out and the defense rotated properly, and as Casey taught us how to do it. And I came up with the steal, you know.
Stop being modest, Gerald.
And as we know, we could all hear Johnny Moe. Henderson stole the ball.
Now, ML, if you weren't in the game, and Larry was, and as I recall, that was often the case.
Most of the time.
Yeah. Then the towel-waving duties fell to you.
Well, you know, I received, during the course of my career, the latter part of my career, a lot of boos and yells concerning that towel. But I remember in the Philadelphia series, I picked it up one time on a game here in Boston, got the fans going a little bit, and Larry came to me another time and said, ML, get that towel going again. So when Larry tell you to do something, you do it.
Now, as it happens, I have known you since you broke into pro ball in the old ABA with the Spirits of St. Louis. I've seldom met a nicer guy and seldom met a guy more despised outside his own town. They love you here, and on the road, they couldn't stand you, right?
That was a love throw to Magic. As a matter of fact, the thing is that Red Auerbach, who we haven't heard a lot about Red, but Red taught us when you put on the uniform, a Celtic would do whatever it takes to win. And the fact of the matter is, when you look at a Magic, you look at a Larry, you look at these guys around the league, I didn't have the talent that these guys had. But if Coach asked me to go in the game for 2 minutes, it was going to be the best 2 minutes that I possibly could give.
That was even if you had to rip somebody's head off, right?
And every now and then, you know, when you're playing against guys like Magic and Dr. J, it made it very tough because defensively, you just couldn't stop these guys conventionally. So every now and then, I would put a little elbow into it. So that's why I was despised around the league. But I think it was Red's fault, though. Red told me to be tough. Thanks, Red.
How hot was it in here, Game 5 and Game 7 in '84 against the Lakers?
They said it was 105. All I remember is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with the oxygen tank to his face.
And the goggles fogged up, right?
You know, and I say Kareem because Kareem was such a great talent, too, not unlike Magic, not unlike Bird. But the point is that it was very, very hot in here that night. I bet you anyone that was in here that night was totally drenched because you had two great teams going at it, giving it everything they could possibly have. But guess what? If we have a Game 7 or a Game 5 in here a couple years from now, we don't have to worry about it because we'll have an air-conditioned Boston Garden.
Uh-oh, look out.
You see, that meets with mixed reviews.
No question.
Quinn, before you make the presentation, you've told me a story about calling Larry the day after a championship. The day after. And what was he doing?
Well, for me, it was a unique experience. First of all, play with him. But after we won in '84, we went out, you know, go after the game, you go eat dinner and do things like, you know, people do. But we get ready, so I called Larry the next day, and I called over and asked Dinah, I said, Dinah, where's Larry? The very next day after we won in '84, ladies and gentlemen, Larry Bird is out running, trying to get the championship, the next NBA championship. That's the kind of dedication that Larry Bird had.
Go ahead.
That's probably true. But I probably felt so bad when I got up, I had to do something to start feeling better.
In addition to all of that, Larry, what we have here is a watch that I want to present to you, and I hope it gives you some sense of feel for how we feel about what you've done. Now I know why your back has been hurting. You had to carry us for all of those years. Thank you. Thank you.
One of the greatest basketball seasons in the history of the game. Coming up when Larry Bird Night continues.
Some unknown long-distance companies are promising you fax connections as fast as AT&T's. But a promise isn't a guarantee. And AT&T's advanced network guarantees your faxes won't get blocked, so they'll connect on the first try. Or we'll credit you if you're not satisfied with any fax that doesn't. It's your choice. Faxes that'll save you time, guaranteed. Or some other company that could be sending you the wrong signal.
The AT&T Best in the Business Guarantee. Call for details.
Tri-State Megabucks presents Rich Little as the June Taylor Dancers.
Gee, that kid can dance.
Now that's chauffeur. Fabulous! Get your Tri-State Megabucks tickets today and you might get rich for just a little. And just imagine.
It began not with a clean sheet of paper, but with a 75-year history. A history of building automobiles that make the most of the driver's skill. Because how you drive is as important as what you drive, BMW introduces a car that could improve both. The BMW 325IS Coupe.
Sunday.
Welcome to Men on Fitness.
Blaine and Antoine are going to make you sweat.
Take you to the shower.
In living color. And
one of the reasons people watch rock is to see the complex and loving relationship between two brothers.
Rock live. Then, when Kelly buys a chopper, Al goes hog wild.
Goodbye, everybody.
Sunday, beginning at 8 on Fox 25.
Single-season teams in the entire history of the NBA. Let's relive that remarkable season of 1985-86.
Entering the 1986 season, Larry was at the top of his game, and his Celtics were primed to make one more championship run. It would prove to be their most impressive. From the opening game, they executed to perfection. A supremely talented group of all-stars, they played in perfect sync and dominated all competition.
That's the Boston Celtics, folks. To the basket. Bird just hit him with a screen. Didn't get it back to the air. Coming.
You know, we went out there with a job in mind, and we all knew what our jobs were. And when we went to work, it was like punching in the clock. You know, if I wanted an assembly line, and my job was to put the put the radio knob on the radio. I'm putting the radio knob on the radio, and the other guy's putting in the buttons and putting on the antennas. And, you know, Larry was the antenna man, and we were the button man.
For Larry, doing his job had never been more rewarding. With the addition of Bill Walton, Larry had more weapons than ever at his disposal, and he used them to devastating effect.
I think what you know, made that team so special was its ability to play any kind of style. You know, we could play the setup game, we could play the fast break game. We had great defense, great rebounding, and then if nothing was working, hey, we could always just give it to Larry, and he'd step back and shoot a three.
As the Celtics dominated the league, it became clear that this season would not only be a drive for a championship, but also a journey into history. They would lose only one game in the Boston Garden all year, setting an NBA record for home court mastery. They would compile the second-best record in Celtic history, and Bird would join Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain as the only players to win 3 consecutive MVPs. The playoffs would be a mere formality as the Celtics dropped only one game on their way to the finals. And even the championship series itself would be less a contest than a coronation.
Bird carries out the game plan, and the Rockets want to know what hit them.
Houston would quickly become a footnote as Boston captured its second title in 3 years and took its place as one of the greatest teams in NBA history.
Bird goes in a three-point land. He makes it a 28-point lead.
I mean, I always felt that, and still feel that that's the best team I've ever seen in this league. I'm sure Magic's got a team he liked to throw up against it, but to me personally, I thought that's the best team ever assembled since I've been in the league.
16 out of 40, the greatest winning tradition. You did it with hard work and teamwork. You've earned it. It's yours. Enjoy it.
And several players are here from that 1986 team. Andy Jick will bring them on. Andy?
Head coach K.C. Jones. Assistant coach Chris Ford. The trainer Ray Melchiori. Scott Wedman.
It was a slow day.
Rick Carlisle.
There was a bright light.
Sam Vincent.
There was a bomb and the baby crying. Wired to the radio. These are the days of miracle and wonder.
Jerry Seasting.
When the camera follows us and slowly.
DJ Dennis Johnson.
When we look to a distant constellation.
Number 32, Kevin McHale.
These are the days of miracle.
Number 00, Robert Parrish. And Bill Walton.
It was a dry wind, and it swept across the desert and it curled into the circle of blue of a dead sand.
Bill, DJ, and KC, would you join us up here for a moment, please?
Mine right here. And now?
All right, now.
Mine's not working.
Yours is not working? You can have mine, KC. While Larry tells us this story, I hope it's a good story. I see that KC is wearing loafers,
Yes.
but I understand that there was one occasion in the locker room, and you can pick it up from there.
I have mine, yes.
Go ahead, Larry.
I don't know if I should tell that one.
Go ahead.
We was in New Jersey, and we get prepared for a basketball game, and KC was sitting on a training table, which sits up pretty high. and he was talking, and he had his legs back and relaxing. He was going along, and I was on the floor stretching, and somebody had a jumping rope, but I snuck up behind him, got down there and tied his legs to the legs of the chair. And just as he started to get up, of course, ML runs up there and grabs him. Thought he was going to get some more playing time, but it didn't work. And Casey was wondering, who did it. But that's the type of guy. Casey's the coolest and the smoothest man you could ever possibly meet.
Yeah, but when Larry did that, I told him, I said, well, I'm not going to start you in this ball game. But then I would have been hurt if we'd gone out there and no Larry Bird. Well, it sounds good anyway.
We was in Portland one time, and I was coming down one on three break. I had the ball, and Casey was hollering to play. I said, what the heck? I shot it from three-point land, and Casey had his arms up in the air, and it goes through. I looked at Casey. He goes, what the heck?
Casey, you played with and coached some of the best teams and with some of the best players in the history of the league. But this '86 team not only was one of the greatest in terms of results, but their feel for one another on the floor, their passing ability, their intuitive sense of where each of the others were, that was remarkable.
Very remarkable. These guys came in together in '81. There's Kevin, there's Larry, there's Robert. And they knew, Dennis Johnson, Danny Ainge, they knew what each other could do. And what I did was said, okay, let's see what's happening out there. And you'd see Larry shooting a three-pointer, and then I'd call a timeout, and they didn't count the three-pointer. So he's very upset with that, so I diagrammed the play. He says, heck with the play, Case. Give me the ball and tell all the rest of the guys to get out of the way. I said, shut up, Larry. I'm the coach here. Okay, all right. Dennis, you take the ball out, give it to Kevin, then you throw it to Larry, and everybody get the hell out of the way. And then true to his word, in Phoenix, he goes down before the ball is thrown in, and he's standing right in front of the Phoenix bench, and he looks at all the guys on the bench and says, I'm getting the ball, I'm going to put it in the hoop. And he says, watch my hand as I follow through. The ball is thrown into Kevin. Kevin gets to Larry. Larry fires it up, puts a hand in the air as he continues on to the dressing room. Now, that's what you call arrogance.
Now, Bill, somebody told me a story about Chief getting hurt. You come in and you say, all right, I'll pick up some of the offense here in Chief's absence. But what did Larry tell you?
Larry was one of those players that didn't play basketball, he lived basketball. He would know what was on the minds of everybody on the team. And Larry came into the locker room on a day when I was going to get more playing time. I could never get Casey to remember what my name was. I'd have to sit there next to Chris Rogers and Jimmy Ford and elbow him and sort of say, hey, let me back in that game. And Larry knew I was going to be coming ready to take a lot of shots tonight and get a lot of minutes because Casey had to play me. It was either me or Greg Kite, and basically it had to be me. And so Larry, Danny Ainge, and myself were always the first three guys to the gym. DJ, of course, was the last. But I'm in there stretching out on the floor, getting ready in the locker room before I'm going to go out and play, and Larry walks in and walks right up to me as if he'd been thinking about me all day. He said, hey, I get all the shots on this team. Just because Kevin or Chief are not playing, that makes no other opportunities for you. Now get your butt to the weak side and get some rebounds so I can shoot more. But the magic of Larry Bird was not on the basketball court, was not in the locker room. It was in his ability to create an atmosphere of excitement wherever he went. I grew up in California, in Laker country, and I was a big Celtic fan growing up, and I was always... It was always my dream to be on the Celtics. Bill Russell was my favorite player, and I had watched Casey Jones, and the first time I came to be a Boston Celtics, I come in the gym, and Larry starts playing great as he always did, and the fans started chanting, Larry, 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 and then a little bit later it was MVP, MVP, and the excitement in this arena that is present here tonight was created by Larry Bird's play, but not just by his play, but by his presence as it is here tonight.
And well, Dennis Johnson has just been sitting here, so we should turn to him. You've called him the best player you ever played with.
Without a doubt. DJ probably wasn't our best scorer. He probably wasn't our best defensive player, but what DJ did, he did a little bit of everything. And what he did good. DJ wasn't the greatest shooter in the world, as we know. But when the game got down to the last minute or 2 minutes, if the game was tied, DJ seemed like he always came through for us. He always made a big steal. He was always in the right place at the right time. He brought so much to our club in '84. It was just unbelievable, and we all felt very awed about it. And I'm glad I had an opportunity to play with him, because there's no question. I mean, Robert and Kevin are great, but DJ did a little bit of everything. He was very special in a sense of every way, and that's why I said that. But I've been very fortunate. I've played a lot of great ones.
Thank you. Scripted well. But, you know, with Larry, even to the end, I mean, this being his night, as I always said, well, first of all, Larry said a lot of these things because it was I who had the ball all the time. and to keep me happy, basically he would say stuff like this because he knew I was going to throw him the ball. And if Robert and Kevin then would have said, I probably would have passed it to them too, but no. Even all the way down to the end, and this being, you know, Larry's night, he still goes out and he's the type of person he is. He's giving everybody else credit. Enjoy it. It's great, and it's yours.
The beauty of this gifted player, Larry Bird, is that these two people came into the league at the same time. Magic and Larry, one is on the West Coast, one is on the East Coast. That gave us what we have here tonight, this kind of reception, this kind of communication and identification. Now, that cannot be topped. So that's very much appreciated.
Casey Jones talked earlier about the togetherness of this team and how we spent so much time thinking about the game of basketball. When I first joined the team here, and we'd hang out, Larry and Kevin and Chief and myself, and we'd be talking all about basketball, what we're going to do, how we're going to play, and Kevin and Larry would pull me aside, and they would say, now, Bill, just watch out with Larry, because what's going to happen is that he's going to come into these games the night before and he's going to talk all this trash about how the other team is terrible, they got nobody who can stop me, the other coach has got a bad strategy, and then we're going to have to go out there and cover for him. But then we would spend a lot of time just hanging out and thinking and philosophizing about basketball. And I mentioned that Larry Bird lived the game of basketball. One of the things we used to do was watch a lot of satellite television. Larry didn't do it, but Kevin and I, Chief, would do it. And I'd be watching these West Coast games in the middle of the night, and I'd see a great play by Magic and Jabbar, or a great play by, I don't know, Magic. Were there any other teams out there on the West Coast? And I didn't know. So I'd get an idea, Riley would have a great play, and I'd write it down. I'd quickly call Larry up in the middle of the night, and it'd be 1 o'clock in the morning. And I'd dial his number, and he wouldn't even say hello when he picked it up. He'd say, Bill, that play won't work. Now get some sleep. Get some sleep and quit bugging me. Good night. Hang it up.
Well, in just a little bit, the banner will officially be raised to the rafters, and it's kind of appropriate that these two had that unspoken communication on the floor, even down to one of the most famous plays in Celtic history, the Game 5 steal against the Pistons in '87, when Larry grabbed it, and DJ knew in an instant before anybody else on the floor what was happening, cut to the basket, winning lay-in from the left side. You didn't know?
I do. In a second.
So it's appropriate that these two have their numbers displayed alongside each other, and for a presentation of a miniature replica, here's DJ.
You know, I'm glad this is finally on here, because last year Larry told me that he was going to pay somebody to climb up there and put a 3 by my name, so so it would basically just be him up there still. But I'm glad this is here. The inscription says, on Larry Bird Night, Boston Garden, February 4th, 1993. Number 33 has now joined those of us Celtics legends raised above the Garden parquet. Thank you, DJ. Thank you.
Now, before you fellas go, there's one important member of the '86 team who couldn't be here tonight for a very simple reason. He's playing for the Phoenix Suns, but you know how we remedy that, so here's Danny Ainge.
Bird has got Pressey on him, finds Ainge on the cut. Danny for 2.
My first game in the NBA, Bill Fitch called a timeout and he diagrammed the play, and I was supposed to cut off the high post and post up for a second and then go across and set a pick. Well, I came off the pick and I was wide open, and I stood there waiting for the ball. I had a smaller guy to post up, and Larry just waved me out of the way saying, "Get out of here, get out of the way." And from that time I learned to run Larry's play, not the coach's play. I'm really grateful for having had the chance to play with Larry. He taught me a great deal about the game of basketball. He taught me how to prepare for games. He was a great example to me in how he approached his job and the professional that he was. And besides all the great things I learned on the court, the passing and the shooting and all those things, Larry was a great example, and I feel very blessed to have had the chance to play with Larry Bird.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the greatest front line in the history of the NBA, Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale, and Larry Bird. Kevin, it's obvious how well you three worked together, but was there some sort of internal friendly rivalry between the three of you?
I don't think we were really rivals in any sense. I mean, we had some good practices, and everybody got after it pretty good a lot of times. But no, there wasn't. I think that the thing that Robert and I knew from day one, the thing I knew from day one, it was Larry's team. You know, and Larry ran the team, and we knew where we fit in. Larry was multi-dimensional. Chief and I were finishers. We'd run down that box. I tell you right now, Larry was still out there standing right in that corner. I'd get my butt down that box and get the ball because he gave it to you where you needed it. And, you know, so we knew that right from the start there wasn't. But there was just a mutual respect amongst all three of us, and that's what made it work.
There was a stretch in 1985, and I think these two games were maybe a week or 10 days apart. You got 56 against Detroit, and that broke Havlicek's team record. And Larry got you the ball right at the end so you could pile up some more points, right? And then he had a comment for you at the end of the game.
Well, Bertie told me at the end of the game, you know, 56 points is a lot of points. I'm figuring, man, I got to let someone else shoot now. I mean, I'm just, you know, this is crazy because I had never scored 56 points before, even in a church league game, you know. So we were out there, and so I kind of said, nah, that's enough. And Bertie said, hey, it doesn't happen that often. You know, you go for 60. And I thought, nah, I'm not going to go for 60. And after the game, Bertie said, should have gone for 60 because I'm going to go for 61 these days. 9 days later, he went for 60.
Robert, what one thing, as you sit alongside these two guys, what one memory comes to you first?
I would have to say when I first came to the Celtics, I witnessed the first practice. And that's when I knew that Kevin and Larry and the rest of the team that was similar back in '80 was a very special unit. And that's when I knew that we could be a very special team and accomplish great things.
Which one of the two of you has the presentation in this round for Larry?
I don't know. No, they haven't prepped it on. I do. I'm just kidding. I got the presentation for Larry right here.
We got something here. Here we go.
Okay. All right. Boy, whatever it is, Bertie, it's heavy. I tell you that much. This is Larry Bird. Upon the Garden Parquet and throughout the annals of the NBA, the Boston Celtics have set the standard by which all other teams are measured. Larry Bird upheld that standard in the highest tradition of Celtics pride. His extraordinary play defined an era in Celtics history. And truer words were never spoken.
Now, Robert, we were asking some of the Celtic players what part of Larry's game they appreciated the most. Would you say it was his footwork?
No.
Would you say, Kevin, it was his blazing speed?
No.
Would you say, Robert, it was his ballet-like grace?
No.
Well, there seems to be rare unanimity of opinion here, so anticipating this reaction, we've selected some of the plays that illustrate what Kevin and Robert are talking about.
It had to be you. It had to be you. I wandered around and finally found the somebody who could make me be true, could make me be blue, or even be glad just to be sad, thinking of you. The mothers I've seen might never be me, might never be cross, tried to be boss, they wouldn't do. For nobody else gave me a bell, whether you're false, I love you still. Baby, it had to be you, wonderful you, had to be you.
When we return, a rivalry and friendship that will last forever. Larry Bird Night continues after these messages.
Some unknown long-distance companies are promising you fax connections as fast as AT&T's. But a promise isn't a guarantee. And AT&T's advanced network guarantees your faxes won't get blocked, so they'll connect on the first try. Or we'll credit you if you're not satisfied with any fax that doesn't. It's your choice. Faxes that'll save you time, guaranteed. Or some other company that could be sending you the wrong signal.
The AT&T Best in the Business Guarantee. Call for details.
When cars are called luxury sedans, what does that mean? Leather appointments? Absolutely. Dual airbags, wood trim? Mandatory. Gotta have a CD player and power sunroof. But on most luxury sedans, these features cost extra. Not the Infiniti J30. They're all standard. See, Infiniti thinks when you buy a luxury car, the luxury shouldn't be optional.
To lease a fully equipped J30 for just $399 a month, see your Infiniti dealer now.
You've driven these streets 1,000 times. But tonight, there's something different. Tonight, you're using Exxon 93 Supreme gasoline for a cleaner engine, smooth acceleration, and a full 93 octane. Rely on Exxon Supreme.
The government has the mob's #1 informant.
But we know for a fact that a contract's been put out on his life.
Now, special effects genius Raleigh Tyler must complete the illusion.
The best thing to do is to make them believe that he's dead. You want me to pull the trigger?
You are 100% protected. I give you my word.
He tried to kill me!
Brian Dennehy, Brian Brown, a plan too evil to be real. The shocking suspense thriller, FX.
At 8 on the Fox 25 Monday Night Movie.
Of the Eastern Conference Finals against the Pistons. The pivotal game in the series, and Detroit is up by a point with 5 seconds to play. They've got the ball out of bounds. It's in the hands of Isaiah Thomas. All they've got to do is get it in and execute, and the game is over. And Game 6 is in Detroit. You all know what happened. Let's listen to the call.
Seasoning bumps him a couple of times. And nails the top of the key with 17 seconds to go, and the Celtics call time.
Detroit by 1, 17 seconds, so Boston goes for the final shot.
On the left it goes to Bird. Bird guarded by Mahorn. Drives around him. Goes on in. And the ball gets knocked out of bounds by no, they call it the other way.
When we lost the last opportunity to score by throwing the ball away, I was sure it was over.
The game was over, and Detroit had won.
Thomas wants to get it in quickly.
Please, somebody come up with, this ball.
Now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the DJ, lays it in. Right up 1 second left. What a play by Bird. Bird stole the inbounding pass. Laid it up to DJ. DJ laid it up and in. And Boston has a 1-point lead with 1 second left. Oh my, this place is going crazy.
Oh, this is right up there with all the great ones that have been played. It's the one you look back on and kind of smile and say, yeah, we foot was in the trap, but we snuck out of there somehow.
Steals it and gets it to Johnson at the buzzer.
Yeah, he made a great play, no question about it.
They forgot about Larry Bird, that's all.
And that play against Detroit helped to set up the final championship confrontation between the two great rivals of the 80s, the Lakers and the Celtics. Please welcome now the Laker player who, along with Larry, defined a new level of competitive excellence in the NBA, Earvin Magic Johnson. Well, Commissioner Stern pointed something out that I hadn't thought about, but it's obvious. There's such symmetry in your careers. The championship game in college, entering the league at the same time, being the big contributors to its growth through the 80s, playing on the dream team together as you close out your respective professional careers, and now you'll go into the Hall of Fame on the same day, the two of you. That's fitting.
Well, no question that you know, it was tough times in the beginning for both of us, being the competitors that we are. So we very rarely spoke or said hi. But I think after that one commercial, you got a chance to see. I got a chance to go to Mom Bird's house, and we sat there and we had a chance to have a conversation, finally for the first time. And we found out that we were much alike. We have similar backgrounds in terms of Midwest boys, and we just started laughing and giggling like two little boys, and it started a friendship that would last forever. And I'm just happy that I got a chance to be a part of tonight. You know, I wouldn't miss it for the world. You know, you caused me a lot of sleepless nights. You know, I tell people all around the country when they ask me a question, who's the best, who this, who that, and I always tell them that you know, I didn't play back and way back and all that, but when I was playing, that you're the best all-around player that ever played, and that, but more than that, the more respect that I can give you is the fact that you were the most feared player. I feared you more than anybody else because I knew if it was a little time on the clock, you know, 0.11, half a second, this man would find a way to win that damn game. So I should also say thank you for, do I have all this time? Thanks. Because I should thank you for helping me to improve my game too, making me play at a level that I don't know how I got up there myself, you know. It was just a sense of unbelievable high. You know, you guys are lucky, ladies and gentlemen, because I don't know if it's going to ever be a rivalry. You know, there's been some great, I don't want to down the NBA now, Commissioner, but I was at the Lakers-Orlando game the other night before I took the all-nighter to get here, and it was some excitement for Shaquille. It's some excitement when Michael come in, no question about it, pack houses. But people don't go crazy like they used to when Larry Bird was coming to town. And I remember we used to get off the plane here, the baggage men. Magic Larry's gonna get you tomorrow. You know, everybody you passed was just going crazy. No Magic tonight. You know, but it was a sense of excitement that it was unbelievable. And so you had to play. It was, And I know you don't feel that anymore, and that's too bad. But this man should be commended and thanked for what he has done, not only for you, the league, but kids and everybody else. And like I said, just thank you. And I'm going to keep going sometime. Yeah, I'll let you get back, Bob.
You know, I guess there's 100 questions I could ask about specific moments, but it's hard to rank any one ahead of the second or the third one. So why don't you just express your feelings for Magic Johnson?
Well, there's no question that Magic's probably the toughest competitor and probably the best player I've ever seen. There's no question about that. We already know that. On the court, he took every game serious. He brought his teammates to a level that they couldn't even achieve on their own. We've seen what he's done over the last 13, 14 years, starting back in college. I'll never forget that college game where I knew from the beginning he was outmatched because of the talent, and Magic was directing him, leading him up and down the court. We got into the first year of the NBA. He wins a championship right off the bat. A lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. There's pressure on me to start winning championships right away. And I don't think I could ever achieve that if I didn't have somebody always looking out and see what I'm doing every night. I knew he was watching me because I was watching him. I was making sure that I knew what he was doing every night. But he took my game to a level, especially when we played him in here. He's had more success in here than anybody else has because he knew how to work the crowd. He knew how to take the crowd out of a game. But he is by far the best player that I've ever played against and really ever seen. I can't include all the other great players because I never really watched professional basketball. But Magic, there's one thing. We can agree upon that we're retired now, right?
Right.
We'll never come back again.
No.
But I want to ask you, then will you get the hell out of my dreams?
Oh, man. What are you talking about? I'm going to tell this story, and then I know you're trying to get me off. You want to go home and everything. We're in L.A., and I'm hurt. So I can't play against the Celtics. You know I'm killing myself. So, you know, Larry's warming up. So the anthem is sung and get introduced, and right before they go out on the court, Larry comes down. He said, you know what? Don't worry. I'm going to put a show on for you. And he went out. I think he scored 38 points, about 20 rebounds, about 15 assists. And every shot he would shoot, he would turn to me. And I said, boy, and you would sit there. You know, the thing about it that I love about you is that, see, most guys talk trash and talk stuff and can't bag it up. But Mr. Bird, you know you can bag your trash talking up. And the last two things before I go, because this is your night, and I'm trying to just tell everybody how I feel about you, because I respect you and admire you and love you so much. But the last two things, you know, today, I knew you were great, but today I found out how great you really are. I'm watching ESPN, and they got these greatest shots. You see this SB award? You call in, and you pick the greatest shots. So I'm sitting here watching it's clock beaters. So I'm sitting here watching all the candidates, right? And you know, every candidate on there only like made one marvelous shot in their career. Only one. They should have just had you and showed you on video because you had hundreds of last-second shot beaters. I mean, what are they thinking about? If they were smart, they just put, okay, Larry Bird is our winner. there's no other contestants. And last but not least, I'm going to say this because you told me one lie. You only told me one lie in your career.
That's pretty good.
Only one. And you only lied to the fans and all the people in the world one time. And you know what that lie was? You don't remember, do you? Larry Bird said that there would be another Larry Bird one day. And Larry, there will never, ever, ever be another Larry Bird. And so I don't care how many people, how many players, there will never, ever be another Larry Bird. So you take that to the bank. I love you, I respect you, and I admire you. And I'm going to get off of here before I start crying because you know I will get emotional up here. Of course, you gave me a piece of the parquet, and so you know what the Lakers did. Sent you a piece of the forum floor. And, but Kareem and Jerry West and Elgin, all the guys you don't want to hear about, basically, they all signed it, and this is from the Laker family, Dr. Buss, and to say congratulations and thank you.
Thank you, Magic.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, this is the only time they ever clap for me. Man, I feel wonderful, not getting booed or anything. Especially when I used to complain about a call. That's all right, you just reminded me, please boo me because I'm reminiscing of all the old times when I used to come in here. This used to be great. Larry got a jersey here. Well, first of all, the Lakers sent one jersey over with your name on the back, Bird. See, yeah. So that's all right. Boo him again. Oh, you know I'm having fun with this, so go ahead. And last but not least, this is mine, and I signed it to you, to the greatest basketball player ever, but more important, a friend forever. And I appreciate that.
Thank you, Magic. You noticed I signed yours on the back. That's because that's all I ever seen of you. It says, to Irvin, a great champion and competitor, you are the best. And thank you for all the great competition and all the great games. See, when we played the Lakers, it was the ultimate game. Of course, we played Philadelphia back in the early days. And the only reason I say that's the best rivalry is because we never got to play the Lakers more than 2 or 9 times a year. It would have been nice. 9 was better than 2. But it would have been a great rivalry, just like back in the older days when we used to play you all the time. And you were the first Laker team to win on the Boston Garden championship. I don't commend you for that. I'm still peeved about that. But there's no question about it, Magic. We had a great time, and it's all over, buddy.
Yeah, it is. It's all over. But you know what? We had that last dream, though. Oh, Rick. I got to get Rick for this. You and I remember this. Do you remember when Rick Roby started in front of both of us? You guys don't know this. Larry Bird and I sat on the bench. You remember that?
Do I remember that?
Can you believe you?
Who was the coach of that team?
Joe B. Hall, Kentucky. Had all them Kentucky guys starting. But boy, did we put on a show when we came in the game, didn't we?
For them 2 or 3 minutes, we sure did.
Oh, man. And I finally got my dream to play with you and the dream team. And ladies and gentlemen, they were talking about, well, Larry might not play and this and that. And I told the guys, I said, if Larry doesn't play, I won't play. And I'm glad that we finally got that dream. So I'm going to get off here because, see, we can go forever.
Now, Magic,
now,
since you're kind of you're sort of segueing into a new career, working occasionally with NBC, and
right.
you seem so at home here. See what it says?
Yes.
Segue into Olympic video. Why don't you just do it?
All right. It was like we played together instead of against each other. And for the first time on the Olympic Dream Team, it seems only fitting that our career should be capped by a joint participation on the greatest basketball team ever assembled, the 1992 USA men's basketball team. Let's relive the highlights of the swaggering, flamboyant journey. Roll the tape.
When America's dream team was assembled, there was no question as to who its captains would be.
Who's taking the last shot with the game on the line? Let's see what's going to happen is Larry and I...
He's going to shoot it and miss the whole rim. I'm going to be standing there and lay it in like Balbona's team did in '83.
Yeah, that's right, but
The games didn't go exactly according to Larry's script, but the team's march to the goal didn't lack for theatrical grandeur. It would prove to be Larry's farewell to the game, and his curtain call couldn't have been more fitting.
this group may well be the greatest team ever assembled in the history of team sports.
Playing for his country, Larry showed the same indomitable pride as when he first entered Boston Garden over a decade ago, and displayed a spirit that has never lost its youthful fire.
One last time, folks. Magic and Larry. Now, before we bring Dave Gabbett back, I don't know how many of you are in a position to see what I've been able to look over at throughout the night, but Dinah, I have to tell you, I'm envious. I have two little kids, and the way that Connor has behaved tonight in the face of all this hoopla, I mean, this kid is having the time of his life, hasn't shed a tear, running around, peering through the cameras, jumping up and down in his little Celtic pajamas. Very nice. Larry says he takes after his father, very well behaved. We're forgetting some of those
Wouldn't
objections.
you, Bob, if your dad owned the Boston Garden, you would behave too and run around.
Now it's a pleasure to welcome back the man who headed up USA men's basketball when he wasn't running the Celtics, Dave Gabbett.
Thank you, Bob. And very quickly, I'd like to ask Russ Granick, the Deputy Commissioner of the NBA, to help me with this little ceremony. Magic, this ceremony is going to be repeated in the Los Angeles Forum on February 14. We got your ring, and I didn't want to give it to the Lakers because we wanted to give it to you tonight. But I'd like to ask Russ, on behalf of all of us at USA Basketball, to present to Larry a ring specially made by Balfour, emblematic of winners of the gold medal of the 1992 Olympic basketball team, Olympic champion. And Cap, you certainly deserve it. And Magic, it wouldn't have been like it was without you and Larry there.
Now, obviously, the only two members of the Dream Team who could be here tonight are Magic and Larry. Others are still active in the NBA, and while they could not be here physically, they did want to be remembered to Larry Bird, and so here they are on video.
But I don't think this team could beat our 86 team in Boston. That's just because Patrick Ewing's not a real center.
I felt that Larry and I developed a very good friendship in Barcelona. You know, he was a lot different than I thought he was. He seemed like, you know, very caring, you know, told a lot of jokes. We developed that Harry and Larry routine. He talked a lot of trash, I just wish, Larry, I wish you were still playing so I could pay you back for all the stuff you were telling me this summer in Barcelona. I miss you.
I wish I could be there with you tonight on your retirement. I want to congratulate you on a fantastic career. You've had a big impact on my life. Looked up to you all the time and your work ethic. Had a great time with you this summer. It's got to be the highlight of my life to get to spend time with the guy that you looked up to so much. You're the best, and I want to wish you the best in retirement.
Larry, I hear that you're retiring. Thank goodness. I'm glad. I'm tired of seeing your face. Well, a lot of sad memories to me, but you know, I enjoyed you tremendously. I wish you a lot of luck, and I think you had a very wonderful career, even though you probably ruined a lot of my successful games against the Boston Celtics. And I'll see you somewhere along the road, somewhere playing golf.
Well, Larry, it was an honor to play against you. It was an honor to play with you. And I'm just very blessed that I was born in your lifetime so I can tell my kids I played against one of the greatest players to ever touch a basketball. Like I said, playing with Larry Bird was a dream come true, one of the highlights of my basketball life. And if it wasn't for him and Magic Johnson, basketball would not be what it is today. So thank you, Larry, for all the money.
The retirement of number 33, when Fox 25's coverage of Larry Bird Night continues.
To know where it's at in Boston, you gotta know where it's not. And where it's at now is Celtic stock. You can win 50 shares in cases of Miller Lite.
To the new owners of the Boston Celtics.
Miller Lite, because you know where it's at.
Come on!
Miller Lite and the Celtics. The great tasting beer that's less filling and team that keeps winning. In Boston, it's everything you want a beer to be.
Your Chrysler Plymouth dealers announce the Chrysler Awards Celebration Sale. See the Chrysler Concorde, Automobile Magazine's Automobile of the Year, and save on our other award winners. Laser RS Turbo. Get $700 cash back on the winner of Motor Trend's Bang for the Buck Award. Up to $1,900 on Duster, one of Motor Trend's 10 best domestic buys. Nearly $2,500 on the 6-passenger Acclaim. Share in the savings on all our winners. The Chrysler Awards Celebration Sale now at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
This is for your Big Mac, right? First one that misses?
Watches the winner eat lunch. Got it.
Off the glass. Get in.
Nice shot.
One knee.
Which knee? Get in there.
Off the floor, off the scoreboard, off the bank board, no rim.
Over the second rafter, off the floor, nothing but net. Through the window, off the wall, nothing but net.
What you want is what you get, and McDonald's today.
Off the expressway, over the river, off the billboard, through the window, off the wall, nothing but net.
The camera. All right. Well, this is a pretty pale imitation of Red Auerbach, but you get the idea. This thing isn't even lit. Well, the fellow who has been here for every Celtic championship in one capacity or another, as coach, front office man, guiding light, could not be left out of tonight's ceremony. So let's light up the garden for Red Auerbach.
Light it up one time for Boston, and for Boston.
And you lit up how many of these? Close to 1,000, right?
A few. A few.
Tell me about the maneuvers involved in landing Larry Bird.
Well, we saw him play. We liked what we saw. We didn't ever think he's going to be this good. After all, how could you figure a guy who is not that quick, can't jump that high, he's a good shooter, but there are a lot of good shooters. Rebounder, average, but there was no way that we could figure about his heart, his ability to be the greatest self-motivated athlete I ever saw, and the fact that he made everybody around him play better. He lifted their game. That was the whole key. He lifted their game to another level. And then another thing. Whoever thought that an athlete such as Larry in that capacity would play hurt? But, you know, I listened tonight to all these things about Larry. And the only thing I didn't like is that they didn't talk about Larry, the man. The guy. He's a man's man. He's a friend of people. He's a very charitable guy. He does all those kind of things. We talk only about his basketball. But I happen to know a lot of things that he has done, and I know will continue to do for people, not only here, but in Indiana. And I'm just proud, very proud, to call him a friend. And the only regret I had is I never coached him.
Come to think of it, wasn't it a deal with the Lakers that set up the pick? Didn't you send Charlie Scott? Now, obviously, this is before Magic showed up. Didn't you send Charlie Scott off for that pick?
I don't remember.
It doesn't matter. You did it, so as long as it worked out, it doesn't matter.
I remember when we signed Larry Bird, his attorney or agent or whatever gave me a list of perks. Here he was getting all this money. He says, if Larry Bird goes back to school, I want the Celtics to pay the tuition. The guy's getting about $800,000 or more. He wants me to pay $1,500. Then he says if Larry makes the all-rookie team, he should get another $10,000. I said, do I look stupid? I says, we're paying this guy the highest amount any guy got coming out of college. The highest amount. And he won't make the all-rookie team. You gotta be idiots. Well, anyway.
What was he like to negotiate with, even with the agent as a buffer in between?
Well, the last two we sort of did ourselves. We sit down and lie to each other. He was telling me how great he was, and I was telling him how great I was. But the one thing I've always told Red is that, Red, you're getting paid a large sum. You haven't scored one basket since you've been here.
That's true.
Folks,
you know, it would have been fun, though. It would have been fun for me to have coached him. I really felt bad about that. But I will say this. Larry Bird never, ever had a bad word to say about any of the guys that coached him. No matter what happened, or losing streak, or whatever, he never had one word, whether it was Fitch, Casey, Chris Ford, whoever it was. He never had one bad word to say.
I always said it under my breath.
As long as you didn't say it to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, just off to Red's right, obviously, is a painting which we're about to present to Larry Bird, and it is done by the man who has chronicled the last who knows how many years, more than a generation in sports in his own distinctive fashion. And before we unveil this painting, let's bring the artist to the stage. Say hello to Leroy Neiman.
Look at his cigar.
Red and Leroy, do the honors.
Isn't that beautiful?
Now, folks, there's a limited edition of 1,033 prints of this painting. Larry is signing and numbering all the prints. All net proceeds will go to charity. The prints are available on the way out of the garden tonight or by calling the Celtics office. Leroy, thanks for lending your talents to the evening. Red.
There's 1,032. I bought the first one.
And now it's time, folks, for the moment that will nearly cap the evening before we hear one last time from Larry Bird. Time to raise the banner to the garden rafters. I'd like to ask Dinah and Connor to come back to the stage, please. And if Connor doesn't remember this firsthand, at least he'll have pictures when he gets older of him up here with his dad as he joins Walter Brown and Red Auerbach and Bill Russell, JoJo White, Bob Cousy, Tom Heinsohn, Satch Sanders, John Havlicek, Dave Cowens, Don Nelson, Bill Sharman, Easy Ed McCauley, Frank Ramsey, Sam Jones, Casey Jones, Jim Loskatoff, and appropriately, on this occasion, Dennis Johnson.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thirteen years ago, thank you. Thank you very much. 13 years ago, when I loaded up the car and headed to Boston, I really had no idea what I was getting myself into. I thought I would come in front of you and play in front of about 10,000 people, do my job, go home, come back the next night, and repeat it. I've been very fortunate over the years. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to make me cry, and you probably will. I've been very blessed over the years. I played with some of the greatest players that ever played the basketball game. I had an opportunity to play with Robert Parrish. I had a chance to play with Kevin McHale. I had a chance to play with Tiny Archibald, Cedric Maxwell, and Dennis Johnson, and more and more and more. Yes, I'm going to miss playing for the Boston Celtics because I was very proud to play for the Boston Celtics. I never put on a uniform to go play a game. I put on a uniform to win. I was taught to win. I was taught to win, and I was taught to be proud. I was taught to hold my head up high. When you lose, you hold your head low. You try to motivate yourself to the next game. Yes, I'm going to miss running the pick and roll with Robert Parrish. I'm going to miss throwing a ball down low to Kevin McHale and watch him do his work. See, them guys took all the pressure off of me. If I couldn't get the shot off, all I had to do is go to them. Yes, I'm going to miss playing with DJ, the backdoor pass, cutting under the basket for the easy layup. But most of all, believe it or not, I'm going to miss the fans of Boston and the people of Boston. Because, like Magic said, he said, you made me take my game to another level. But could you imagine being on the parquet floor down here for the greatest organization in the world and having 15,000 people out chanting Larry, Larry, Larry? Now, don't you think that would make you proud? So I knew when I got here, after the first few games, that you demanded this team of ours and this organization to start winning championships. We knew that, the players knew that, and most of all, our opponents knew that. We did our best to win not only games every night, but championships. I always felt we had enough talent to win 5 while I was here. Unfortunately, Magic got in the way in 2 of them. But you made me in 1986, in the 6th game against Houston, reach a high that I was always chasing. A basketball feeling that I didn't think I could ever attain. Of course, I've been up for games. I've been sky high. But I never concentrated on one game like the game in '86. If you can remember walking, when we came out of that tunnel there, in '86, come on. Came out of that tunnel there, and the fans were standing. They smelled blood. They wanted us to win a championship. And I knew that, and I played, to me, the best game that I ever played is because I got that extra boost from the fans. In when I found out the team wanted me to be their captain or leader, I came and asked you, the fans, many times to get us over the hump. We knew you wanted to win just as bad as we did, but your voice, your excitement brought everybody to that level that we needed to get over the hump. We talk about the '84 game when it was hot in here. The Celtics, it wasn't that hot. It's only hot when you're playing in the other opponent's building. I thought that that night was a game that was a must-win. And again, we called for your help, and you gave it to me. Gave it to all of us. So tonight I leave. I leave basketball forever. I leave a game that I loved. Sorry, but I'm gone. I'm history. I dedicated my life to basketball, and I dedicated my life to the Boston Celtics. I dedicated my life to the fans of Boston. I tried to play through pain that I thought that I would never be able to get out of bed. I don't want no sympathy. I just want to know what you meant to me as a player. I did my very best to please each and every one of you. I know it was tough at times, but my job as a player was to win basketballs and championships for you. And I did it, but I didn't do it enough. But tonight I leave you and I say thank you. I'll be around, but tonight my basketball career is officially over, and I had a blast. I want to thank Magic Johnson for helping me to develop a game that I've always I think it's very ironic that we both came in the same year, go out the same year, go to the Hall of Fame in the same year. We've both been blessed, and we've been very honored to play for the Celtics and him for the Lakers. But I leave tonight, and all I can say is thanks. Looking out here tonight and seeing all these people in here makes you feel like you're on top of the world. See, I'm a proud individual anyway, but I'm also proud to be playing for the best organization that has ever assembled. And thank you, Red Auerbach. Thank you so much. So I say good night, Boston, and may God bless each and every one of you. Good night.
Larry Bird Night has been brought to you in part by AT&T, proud sponsor of the NBA and the Boston Celtics, and by cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft. Get out of the old, get into the cold. The preceding was a Fox 20.